So you've got the Bourne Identity, the Bourne Ultimatum, the Bourne Supremacy, and the Bourne Legacy, and now we're just going with Jason Bourne? Was the Bourne mediocrity taken?
We should work together, Bourne. You exposed the Blackbriar program. We're both after the same thing, right? We both want to take down the corrupt institutions that control society.
I'm not on your side.
Jason Bourne is the fifth movie in the Bourne franchise, bringing Paul Greengrass back to the directing chair, Matt Damon back to the acting chair, and all the suspense and intrigue about who Jason Bourne really is back to the plot chair. Here's 5 things you might want to know about Jason Bourne. So I guess the first question we can ask is it a good thing that Paul Greengrass is back directing this thing? I think overall, yeah. Now, this isn't a great movie, far from it, but I do like him directing the Bourne series. He has a real feel for the suspense of it. He does that shaky cam thing that I think works really well for kind of the visceral action that they want to do. Plus, he's got a great relationship with Matt Damon. Damon famously said he wouldn't come back and do it without Greengrass. I think there's a reason for that, and Damon is, once again, very good at Jason Bourne. I think Greengrass has a great way of directing his actors, moving the story forward, and I think you can see it here. Speaking of actors, and this may be the best thing about the movie for me, I love seeing Tommy Lee Jones do his thing. They're just some actors, you just want to throw them up on the screen and just say, Tommy Lee Jones, do your Tommy Lee Jones impersonation. And he's doing that here. I bought this character all the way through because of his performance, and I think it makes for a nice foil to what's going on with Jason Bourne underneath. Of course, the question is, what is going on with Jason Bourne underneath it all? The answer is unfortunately not very much. This is where the movie starts to fall apart. I remember feeling so intellectually engaged in the Bourne movies, especially those second two with Ultimatum and Supremacy that Greengrass directed. I just remember feeling like the intellectual puzzle was as much fun as the visceral action was. And that is not here. It's overly simplistic. It's overly convenient, and I never felt compelled in my brain to figure out what was happening. And because of that, I wasn't involved in this movie in the same way, and it lost a lot of its flavor for me. Not only that, but the movie almost becomes intellectually destimulating in some of the way it portrays technology in this thing. I'm calling this the Mr. Robot effect. Mr. Robot, the TV show, does such a great job at portraying real technology. The hacks in that show are real, the computers are real, the technology is real. It feels so authentic to the world we live in. And this movie does that old school movie thing of creating unrealistic software, unrealistic hacks, unrealistic programs, and it's all throughout the movie. And you just start rolling your eyes at this stuff. You know, user interfaces that make no sense except to be pretty on the screen. They don't help the user out at all, and they take up way too much graphics power that's not needed, and it's silliness. And when you're rolling your eyes at that stuff, it takes you out of the film in a very real way. And let me finish with this, because I think it's also something that needs to be said. I think the action is too much in this. It all, by the end of this movie, just kind of becomes noise. You get to a point where like, okay, I've seen enough cars wreck. I've seen enough punches thrown. Can we get to something new or interesting? And I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that your brain isn't engaged in the intellectual stuff. So you're just watching the visual stuff, and it's overstimulation, and there's too much there. It's a little bit too much Fast and Furious and not enough Jason Bourne, and I think it just all becomes noise by the end. Overall, Jason Bourne is a Bourne movie, and if you do like the Bourne films, you'll probably have enough here to enjoy it. However, there's so much wrong with it, I cannot give it any higher than a C+. Thanks for checking out this Your Movie Friend review. We'll get to the best ever challenge here in a bit. First, if you want to know more about what goes on here at Your Movie Friend, you can click the info cards. There's other reviews there, as well as a way to support the channel. If you search for my name, Aaron Dicer, you'll be able to find different social media outlets to connect with, Twitter, Facebook, Periscope, whatever the case may be. I'd love to connect with you there. And I'd highly encourage you to check out our podcast, SiftPop. Myself, Danae Hughes, and Andrew Ormsby from Flick Freaks, you might know the Flick Freaks YouTube channel, we do a weekly podcast and talk about whatever the movie is out that week and whatever other pop culture stuff we want to talk about. We talked about Comic-Con this week. So if you want to check that out and you do podcasts, just subscribe to SiftPop at your favorite podcast player, or I'm going to try to put some of them up here at YouTube on occasion when they come out. So I think I've got the one from this week up on YouTube that you can check out here if you want to hear what the podcast sounds like. All right, on to the Best Ever Challenge, where you name the best movie ever in a particular category. Also try to identify my choice. Let's go with the best ever Tommy Lee Jones movie. Got yours in your head? I'll give you a clue for mine. Mine is the birth of one of my favorite digital effects ever. Let's just call him Skinny Steve. Take a guess at mine in the comments. The first person to get it right does get a point. Leave your choice there as well. And as always, here's 5 extra seconds to hit the subscribe button in case you never want to miss another review. It's right down in this corner.